Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the match preview at the View for the Preston North End versus Leeds United game on Saturday morning. Early kickoff, 12:30 kickoff for Leeds. Both managers not overly impressed with the scheduling of games from Sky and from the EFL, but we'll have to deal with it. Leeds have a slight advantage with one slightly more day, more to rest than Preston. Will have. I'm delighted to welcome back and be joined by Andrew Stats Dalton to talk about the game and to get back into our normal rhythm of doing things. I've missed you, mate. How have you been?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to getting back into the swing of things. It's been a good week for Leeds United so far with back-to-back victories, home victories against Derby County and possibly what I thought was probably the best performance of the season against Middlesbrough on Tuesday night. We just kind of need to sort the away form out because you just don't know what you're going to get away from home. We saw obviously defeats. We've lost two of the last three away, lost against Millwall and lost to Blackburn, and they were very similar performances in both games. Millwall, Blackburn both took the lead and had that kind of low block, and that was it really. So yeah, it's again very much looking forward to. We haven't won down at Deepdale since 2019, since Paddy got two goals on a very cold Tuesday evening back in April. So yeah, very much looking forward to obviously I won't be there, but I'm going to follow it on Sky tomorrow. But yeah, very much looking forward to getting back into the swing of things and kind of building up for the Christmas period, because we've got a nice run of fixtures after the trip to the Lily Whites tomorrow against Oxford at home, which is a game you expect to win with Lee's home form. And then you've got two big away games against Derby County and Stoke City, which obviously last season there were the games ironically against Preston and West Brom on Boxing Day, and I think New Year's Day against, or just before New Year's Day against West Brom, that kind of cost Leeds that automatic promotion slot. So yeah, looking forward to it. Big red hot Lancashire versus Yorkshire hot pot game, and yeah, let's go and get the 3 points at Deepdale.
The hot pots will be needed as well. Stats,
Yes.
if I can get you to bring your microphone just up a little bit higher towards your mouth, just a bit quiet, people are saying, just your mouth.
There we go.
There
Perfect.
And if mine is still crackling, everyone let me know and I'll fix it. I think I was messing around with the bottom of it while I was talking, so that's probably why it was crackling. Yeah, it is a hot pot day. It's going to be a cold day up in Lancashire, and it's a ground that doesn't have warm memories. That's terrible. For Leeds United after last season.
Very good.
You were right. There were key moments last year, Andrew, where all kind of fell down. That the slow start to the season, which we've seen a similar one of this season, the December games, and then that little block of games after the March international break. And if Leeds want to rectify the issues of last season, breaking that, I suppose, trend at Christmas that they had last year, or stopping it becoming a trend, would be really important for Leeds coming into this round of fixtures, because, as you say, it is a very winnable run of games for Leeds coming into probably now to mid-January.
Yeah, and it's quite similar to last season that we had those two away games over Christmas, away at Preston and away at West Brom, and now this time we've got the two away games at Stoke, where we got beat last season, and Derby County we've not played away since the Get of Honour back on 2020. So yeah, it's a really important run of fixtures. Sheffield United play Burnley. Sheffield United play Burnley, I think, on Boxing Day when Leeds go to the Bet365. So it's a key time of year, is Christmas, and Leeds have got an opportunity to push on, and if they are serious contenders, they need to start creating a gap between themselves and Burnley, because I think Sunderland is slowly falling away a little bit. They are still up there in fourth position, but it's a massive part of the season is Christmas and New Year fixtures, and you think with the games coming up, including Blackburn in that as well, on New Year's Day, which certainly won't be easy because John Hughes has got them playing some brilliant football, akin to obviously that victory against Leeds at Ewood Park, and then they finish this kind of run of games against Hull City on the 4th of January away at the KC Stadium, or the KCOM Stadium, before the attention turns to the FA Cup. So they've got what's our big run of fixtures really starting now, and if they are serious to be contenders this season, they need to try and get as many points as possible, and just saw that away form out, because it feels like it's a bit of an Achilles heel for Leeds this season.
It really has been, and I suppose it's the one area that just drags us all back from getting too excited about this season. We've seen the home record, 8 wins in a row at home, which is probably very close to a modern record right now for Leeds, the way they're going. But that away record, 1 win in the last 5 isn't strong enough for a team. And if you look at the home and away record for Sheffield United, they're second in the table on the home record, and they're top of the table on the away record, where Leeds are top of the table on the home record, but 8th in the table on the
Yeah.
record. So really key area that needs to be addressed. You talked about the fixtures as well, stats. And if you look at just from Boxing Day on, Sheffield United have a horrendous run of games. They play
They do.
on Boxing Day. Then on New Year's Eve, they've got West Brom. Then on day before New Year's Eve, they've got West Brom. Then they're away to Sunderland on New Year's Day, and then they're away to Watford on the 4th of January. That's 4 games back to back. Could be a big factor in their points tally. And if Leeds, who have a much handier on paper run of games, and that Leeds can just get those wins, you could see a couple of teams be killed off in that mix, and Leeds to get that little gap.
Yes.
Third, because whatever about the title right now, it's about being in those top 2 and pulling away from everybody else for Leeds right now.
Yeah, and I'm quietly confident. I said all season that they'll win the league, and I still kind of maintain that, Jay, to be honest. I think they've got the best squad, and they've also got the depth of squad as well. And you kind of look at the players that are coming off the bench in the last couple of games. So, yeah, it is a key game. I think they will get a victory tomorrow. I think they'll probably learn the lessons from the games at Millwall and Blackburn. Obviously, they've had the extra day, and Preston were at Cardiff, weren't they, on Wednesday night, and Leeds had that extra day against Middlesbrough. Obviously, team news-wise, we'll come to that shortly. Will be interesting with a third game in a week. But again, I use the word opportunity, and it's the 21st game of the season. I think we've reached 20. I mean, we've had the 19-game cut-off point for the yellow cards, and it's nice to see other players getting monster goals, the likes of Joe Rodon and Max Verber getting monster goals. So yeah, it's another one that I'm looking forward to. It's an early kick-off. We haven't won an away early kick-off since Plymouth last season. I think I was back in February, but yeah, you're right in what you say. If Leeds are serious contenders this season, which I do believe they are, they just need to get this away form out. Because if they sort the away form out, I don't see anyone stopping them. Because as you rightly say, that run of fixtures for Sheffield United between now and the new year is tricky, but they are getting the results. They got the result against Millwall on Wednesday. I didn't think they were great against Millwall. Millwall hit the post twice and could have had a couple of penalties, but Sheffield United round out the result. But yeah, if you look at that table, Leeds are 3 clear of Sunderland and 3 clear of Burnley and 4 clear of Sunderland.
5 of Sunderland, yeah.
And 5 of Sunderland. They need to start creating a gap, but you can't take anything for a given in this league, can you? It's an unforgiving league, and Preston, I think,
when you look at this, this is where it shows up. This is the away form, and there we are.
Need to sort that out. It's 2-3 wins away from home this season.
3 wins all season, yeah.
2 of them being in Wales against Cardiff and Swansea, the other way, the one against Sheffield Wednesday, should I say, back in August. So yeah, sort the away from out. I believe Leeds will win the league. And a little tidbit there, I don't know if it's been seen anywhere, but in 1963-64, Liverpool won the league. Leeds won promotion by winning the championship. In 1990, Liverpool won the league. Leeds won the title. And then in 2019-2020, Liverpool won the top flight. Leeds won the second division title, whatever you want to call it, second tier. So I'm hoping it'll happen the 4th time as well. So, but yeah, reasons to be cheerful, real happy, and very much looking forward to watching it tomorrow in front of 5,000 Leeds fans, and hopefully getting the right result to take over the Pennines back to Ellen Road.
Yeah, right to ghosts of last season's past.
Yes.
The big news for Leeds, or at least I see it as a massive positive, is Sam Greenwood is ineligible to play tomorrow against Leeds United as the parent club, and he is their 2nd highest on goals and assists so far this season, and is their set piece taker for the bulk of all of their set plays. And they are labelled, if you look at all of the metrics this season, their strong points are set plays, and having him out of that side takes a huge piece of their armory away from them stats. So Leeds have a couple of issues themselves potentially. There's late checks on the back 4. Vobra with a bit of a swollen knee. We have Sam Byram had cramps, so they've just got to mind his minutes. People asking about the Isaac Schmidt situation. Scoobs, he's saying there, if Gilavogi and Schmidt aren't in line tomorrow, I don't think you'll see Gilavogi start the game unless it's against Harrogate in the FA Cup. I don't think he's here to start. And I wouldn't be in a rush to break up that midfield 2 pair in the Leeds have, because they've been phenomenal over the last couple of weeks. And the thing about Isaac Schmidt, there was a very good piece from Dr. Rajpal Brar, who's an injury specialist, and he said it's very hard to go into 90 minutes after a sports hernia. There's a long runway that needs to be ramped up before you're 90-minute ready. And Daniel Farke said, if you're not 90-minute ready, you won't play. And that's probably why he opted against bringing Schmidt on. Also, this kind of game, I don't think he'll mess around with it too much. I reckon Byron will be fine. I reckon Max Vobra will be fine. But it was an interesting one to look at during the week stats to see Byram and Vobra lined up at both fullbacks, and we probably all were a little bit concerned going into it. And then they put in a hell of a performance, both of them. And I want to get your thoughts just on the back line in general this season, but also just Max Vober, his contribution the first 2 games he's been playing in since he's returned from injury.
I think the back line has been magnificent, hasn't it? I think Rodon and Stewart have kind of made that centre-back partnership their own, and I think what's also been impressive, you rightly say, Bogle's come out, Byram's come in, Firpo's gone out, Verber's come in, and I know Verber, it's a bit like Marmite really, Verber, isn't it? What happened when he went away on loan, but he's come back, he's got his head down, and I think he put a really good performance against Derby County last Saturday, got the second goal, and he's done a job at left back. Of course, we've lost Firpo till possibly mid-January by the sounds of it. So yeah, I think you just have to get behind the players. It's happened with Brendan Aronson. They kind of split opinion when he came back, and he's got his head down and he's scoring goals. So yeah, I'm delighted with the back four, and we don't look like conceding too many goals. Okay, they got their own goal on Tuesday night, but that can happen at any set piece. So you just get a touch and it goes into the back of the net. But we don't look like we're going to concede too many goals in the games that we have lost. It's all been 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 to what, Burnley, to Millwall and to Blackburn. So we're not getting beat easily. We're in every game, and I think the back four have been brilliant, and I think that kind of builds confidence for Milan Meslier as well, who I know he's coming for a bit of criticism this season, but he made an absolutely fabulous save in the second half at 1-1 that if he doesn't make that save and Middlesbrough go ahead, it's probably a very different game, and the critics are probably, the scribes, ready to criticise Meslier, and probably criticise Daniel Farke. So yeah, I'm delighted with the back four. I'm delighted with the season as a whole. We're on 40 odd points already, I think 41 points, and it's 2 points per game. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. I'm enjoying it, and I'll worry about next season if we are in the Premier League. Please God we are, because that'll be another conversation to have. But for now, we're riding on it. We're confident. We don't look like we're going to concede too many goals, and as I say, we just need to get that away from sorted out. And if we do that, I reckon hopefully by April time we'll be there or thereabouts in hopefully winning promotion.
Fingers crossed. And the away form is vitally important to that. But as I say, the defence, Alex from an American Leeds podcast said it a few weeks ago, Leeds defence gets them promoted this year. And I think that's likely to be the case. And Brendan Aronson obviously getting involved in the goals again during the week. It was an interesting point because a lot of people are consistently saying Brendan Aronson does nothing. And it was a very interesting piece of information to find that he's only 1 goal behind Jorginho Rutter's entire total goals for last season. Yeah. So not bad after half a season for a guy who does nothing. So as long as he can contribute the same amount of G&A by the end of the season as Georgie did, job done. Doesn't matter how you get there.
Happy. Absolutely.
Somebody else on the channel, I liked it. It was a comment, and I really liked it. I apologize for forgetting who said it, but they said that Jorginho was a scalpel and Brendan is a jackhammer. I think my response was, destination is the same, and it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there. So as long as they do that, we'll be fine. But as you say, we've got plenty of depth in this squad, Andrew, and there's likely to be rotations in the wide areas. I don't particularly see him starting Dan James in this game because I think it'll be a low block tight game.
Yes, yeah.
Basically, Manor Solomon come in. Calls for Larry Ramazani maybe to make an appearance, but I don't think because he hasn't played a huge amount off the bench. I'm not expecting to see him come in from the start, but what are you expecting to see from the wide areas from Leeds?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because we've been so successful over the last few games, and it's the old formula never to change a winning team. But I think rest and rotation, I think you've got to try and freshen it up. I think you might see Manor Solomon come in, possibly Dan James. I thought Willie Nonto's starting to hit a little bit of form as well. Obviously got the first goal on Tuesday evening. And the good thing is, Jay, they've got options. It's not like they've just got the 2 wingers now. They have got 4 options to play on the wing. So personally, I think Dan James will come out. I think he will be rested, and I think we'll probably see Manor Solomon come back in. But then you've got the option of Dan James to freshen it up if needs be. You look at the game against Swansea a few weeks ago, and they had the option to come off the bench and win the game, and that's what Willie Nonto did. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't get paid the big bucks. That's what Daniel Farke gets paid the big bucks for, and that's why they're riding high in the Championship. But I won't be surprised too much if he does rotate the wingers, but we're flying at the moment. We're full of confidence, and it'll be interesting to see that starting 11 come 11:30 tomorrow.
I said it on Joe Wayman's show yesterday. I'm kind of over the argument about Pero or Joseph because now I just look at the two of them as a partnership in a weird kind of a weird way. If one of them starts and isn't doing it, the other one usually comes on and scores, and vice versa then when they swap around. So in some very weird way. They've managed 15 goals and assists between them so far this season, which is not bad considering Mateo has been probably struggling for a little bit of form and not playing a huge amount of games, but they're both making an impact when they come off the bench and replace the other person. So I'm kind of like, I don't really care who starts, because if it's not working, the other one will come off the bench and they'll fix it. So I'm kind of okay with that. But the midfield have started chipping as well with a couple of goals, a couple of assists so far. I don't think we're very far off a Tanaka or a Joe Rothwell goal.
I'm waiting. And the funny thing is, and I said this to the press guys on Tuesday night, we've actually had in our history 496 different goal scorers. So Leeds United goals does not include our own goals. So if Tanaka, Rothwell, Gilavodji can score, maybe Charlie Crew can score, that'll take us to the magic 500. So yeah, I'm desperate for AO to score. I thought he was going to score on Tuesday night, but instead laid it on the plate for Brendan Aronson to tap in number 3. But yeah, I think Tanaka, Rothwell has been magnificent since he's come in, and it's funny. I remember watching the Norwich game back in October, and we were all worried about Gruev and Ampadu being off injured, and all of a sudden look at what Tanaka and Rothwell have done. It's been brilliant, and it's interesting how Ampadu came back on, played at right back yesterday. I didn't even know he was a right back, on Tuesday night. So yeah, the options are there, and I don't know what the situation with Gruev is at the moment, if we will see him again this season. But Rothwell and Tanaka have come in and have been absolutely magnificent, and that's all you can ask for. And the partnership is growing, and for £3 million year to buy Ao Tanaka is wow. What a snip at £3 million.
Yeah, I enjoyed Sky Sports last week when Michael Bridges did a fantastic breakdown of what Tanaka does for Leeds, and then finished it off by saying he's not known for his passing range. I'm like, you sure about it? Yeah. And then Stuart Dallas, in a very polite but slightly direct way, kind of went, you say that, but yeah, he's involved in all of these things, and like, so Stuart's putting him back on course and going, the man's passing range is phenomenal and has been massively important for us. So yeah, look, the depth is there, the squad is there. You want to see more goals in these kind of games. An early goal from Leeds United, you would imagine, will dictate the tempo of this match. Scoring the first 20-25, likely to win the game. Our record when we score first is phenomenal. But this will offer a different, I suppose, proposition again, but we can expect some similarities to previous away games. We can expect them to sit and defend, but they've conceded at home this year. They've conceded a goal every game pretty much, and they've only scored one per game at home in the 10 matches that they played, and they haven't won a game in 5 matches at home, so over 5 games at home. So you want to see Leeds go and really impose themselves on this game, don't you?
Yeah, you want to see them get that early goal, and we've said that record when Leeds have scored first in the Championships is magnificent. The last time they actually lost a game by scoring first was Good Friday at home to Wigan back in 2019, so the record is phenomenal when they open the scoring. However, what I will say is Paul Heckingbottom will want to get one over Leeds, of course. He was the manager for 14-15 games back at the end of the 17-18 season. I think he did a reasonable-ish job. He was following on from Thomas Christensen before Bielsa came. And he's got Preston playing when he took over at Deepdale. I think they were near the bottom, if not rock bottom. And I think, looking at the table, I think they're about mid-table at the moment. So it's never easy. We never get an easy game at Deepdale, as we saw last season. Is Liam Miller still at Preston? Have I made... No, but he's not as a... Yeah, I thought he did.
He's very good.
He was the bit of a thorn in Leeds' side last season. So they've got Reece, I think, up front as well, Emil Reece. So he's probably a bit of a danger man. But it's another opportunity, and we're building some momentum, and that's what's vital for me between now and sort of January the 4th. When that Hull City game finishes, see where we are in the league, and it just presents Leeds with a real chance tomorrow in front of a big away following to go and get 3 points and set the weekend up nicely. Sheffield United, I think, at home to Plymouth, I believe, tomorrow, off the top of my head. Mirror at Hall, thank you, Steve. Yeah, that's right. So I don't know where Burnley and Sunderland are this week. I cannot check the rest of the fixtures.
No, Sunderland are away at Swansea at 3:00.
Not easy. Burnley.
No.
Burnley are away.
They are away at Norwich, which again won't be
not easy. So
not a lot of goals in Burnley this year either.
No,
with the clean sheet, not scoring a lot. And then Sheffield United have a pretty easy trip. They're at
home to Plymouth, aren't they? Yes, which I think they'll win that one.
Then their fixtures get difficult after that.
Absolutely.
So you would imagine they pick up 6 points in their next 2 as well.
They've
been finding ways to win, and that's what Leeds need to look at. You look at their Millwall game, and Lockie texted me in the middle of the game just after Sheffield United scored and said, "This is what we're talking about." They barely got a sniff near Millwall's goal. First chance they get, they score. You got to find a way to win games, and that's going to be massively important for tomorrow. What do you want to see in this game? Stats all up, and where do you think? What direction do you think it's going to head in?
I want to see Leeds make a fast start like they have done in the previous 2 home games. You look at the start they made against Middlesbrough, Leeds, and they were flying from the off straight into Michael Carrick's side, and got the goal. Okay, it was a mistake by the goalkeeper, but Willian Onto was jogging on the spot to score the opening goal. And if Leeds get that first goal, they haven't opened the scoring away from home for a wee while. I think, off the top of my head, I think Sunderland might have been the last time that they scored first in an away game. So, yeah, if they can do that and take the game to Preston, it's a very different game rather than Preston taking the league and having that low block, because that's kind of where Leeds have struggled a little bit this season. But, yeah, I want to see them make a fast start, get the wingers involved, get the balls into the box, and get that early goal, because all of a sudden, if we do take the lead, it's a very different game to when we do concede. And as you say, as Johnny Cooper's part of the stats, when we do take the lead in the Championship, we win. So get an early goal, settle the nerves down. Let's not have a repeat of Boxing Day last year. Get a win at Deepdale, and job done, and come home and put the pressure on Sheffield United, Burnley and Sunderland, and see what those results are over the weekend.
Yeah. What do you think the result's going to be, mate?
I'm going to go for the same as 2019, Preston 0, Leeds 2, and I'm going to go for Joel Piroux, and I'm going to go for a Manor Solomon goal. I just fancy us tomorrow, I think, in front of a big crowd. I know we had the big crowd against Blackburn, it didn't quite work out, but I just fancy us tomorrow. We're in a bit of a head of steam at the moment. The confidence is soaring from the last 2 home games, and if we do win this, it'll set us up nicely for... There's no gimmies in the Championship, but against an Oxford side that have just come up from League One next weekend, and Leeds flying with 8 straight victories. I think the record is 14 home victories in a row, which happened over the 2008, 9, 9, 10 season. So yeah, I expect Leeds to win tomorrow. And the other question that I'm quite intrigued is, where does Patrick Bamford lay in all this? I know there's been a bit of discussion with Piroux and Mateo Joseph, but where's Paddy in all this at the moment?
No, he didn't get off the bench again during the week. Didn't get off the bench the weekend. There's a lot of talk about potentially Celtic and Rangers having a sniff around them as well. A potential loan move maybe away. There's a lot of talk that the club might be open to letting them go, but a lot of it seems to rest on Paddy's shoulders about what he wants to do. If he wants to stay, he can stay, but if he wants to go, they'll help facilitate that as well.
Yeah.
A lot of it seems to be on him. He hasn't blown me away when he's gotten on, but it's really hard to come on in 15 minutes and make an impact in the game when you've not played regularly. So yeah, it's a tricky one for me. I think the writing's on the wall. If I'm being honest with Paddy, I think the race is run, and he's a good age. Go and play football. Same with Joffy. He hasn't been in the squad since Bristol City. Go play some football and get your career going again. No one likes to see players just sitting around the bench.
No, and I know we'll talk about it in more depth towards the back end of the season. He's been a wonderful servant for Leeds, but sometimes time just catches up on you, doesn't it, a little bit? And obviously he's certainly not first or second choice at the moment, and he's not got on for the last couple of games, and it's an interesting one, and it's interesting to see. Probably the next game is Harrogate. You're probably not wrong there, Danny, that he'll probably start that game, but
it was a comeback last year, wasn't it, against Peterborough, and he scored the world, and all of a sudden he went a run of 8 goals.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll see on that one. But yeah, just going back to tomorrow, very much looking forward to it. Safe trip to all them who are going over the Pennines, and bring back the 3 points and set the weekend up quite nicely.
I got an early birthday present off Jess. I'm heading to the Norwich game, so she's coming to her first game ever.
Fabulous.
She got me a hospitality. Well, the pavilion. I say hospitality because it used to be the members area, and I used to go there when I was a member, and now it's hospitality. But yeah, it would be in there. It'd be in the tents. I'll be in the pavilion. So
I will come and find you. I'll come and find you and Jess, and
find you.
Oh God, yes, we've got to have a picture taken as always.
Absolutely, we're there overnight, so we're making a night of it. We'll have a good time. But a couple of questions just to fly through that came in during the stream. Michael says, compared to Leeds' points total last season, are Leeds further ahead on points this season? Is about the same as last season. What's the goal difference? The goal difference is better. We've conceded 4 less, I think, and scored 2 more, but we're on the exact same amount of points.
It's amazing.
Lucky there's no Ipswich and Leicester this season running away with it.
Yes.
But that goes to show this is very much a winnable league. If we can just sort out that away form, I think we start to pull away from teams. So Stats, you think you bring in number 10 in January? He did have a little cheeky smile on his face
He
when
did.
the
He did.
marquee signing was mentioned to him.
Yeah. I think it depends where we're on the league, and it's very difficult to get players in January because they're not always available. Or play, yeah, absolutely. And where we are at the moment, we're flying high, second in the table, potentially to go back to the top of the league tomorrow, certainly tomorrow lunchtime. I don't think we'll be doing too much business in January. A lot of it depends on Firpo with his injury as well. But yeah, I can't see much business, and they cost money at this time of year, and you don't accept the apple cart. And there's one thing I'll always go back to, and it's going back quite a while. Back in season 95-96, Newcastle were flying high at the top of the Premier League table. They bought Tino Asprilla in, and it just fell to pieces. Newcastle, I'm not blaming Tino Asprilla for them not winning the league, but they didn't need him at that time, and without him, they might have not gone on and won the league. So it's very difficult to get that player in January, and how many players do come in that second transfer window and make a difference. There's not too many that you can kind of point to. So look, it could all change if we get an injury between now and New Year. It could all change and forces Daniel's hand. But personally, I think we're in for a bit of a quiet window. There's a blast from the past.
You know what? A player I loved watching though, but not what you'd call a team player.
No, it was linked with. Was linked with Leeds actually before we bought Thomas Brolin, but that's another story for another day. That's correct. Yeah, that team that Parma had back in the mid-90s with, I think, Gianfranco Zola played in there as well, and that's my Gazzetta Football Italia way back from the 90s, which we could do a whole show on that one day. So there's a good idea for everyone. Absolutely.
Beautiful side. My dad loved Fiorentina, and Gabriel Batistuta and Rui Costa playing for them were just a joy to watch as well.
Yes.
So, yeah. Good era for Italian football. If you didn't check out the news today, Massimo Cellino's having a nightmare over in Italy right now. He's doing all the same things he did at Leeds, and the fans are trying to run him out of the club. So, yeah, you could check that out as well. It's an interesting story today. Coming in from Luke, I think it's Farke wants his fullbacks to be more defensive. Yeah, so this was the decision to play Ampadu over Schmidt. Yes. Farke did say the reason he did it was that Schmidt offers more going forward, but at that point of the game, he wanted more defensive solidity.
Yes.
Should be pointed out the first thing Ethan Ampadu did was put his foot on the ball, roll his studs on it, give away possession, and have a counter attack.
Yes, but he is coming back from injury. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, keep on moving. Quick one from Hank Wyman. Why do we think Joseph isn't scoring as much as expected? Lack of service or lack of ability to create by himself? Big fan of Joseph here. So that's what's your thought? I have my own thoughts. What are your thoughts?
It's a difficult one. It's his first full season, isn't he? He kind of broke through Gavin Platt back in Italy. Yeah, fantastic for 92, 93. I'd love to do a 90s show. It's a difficult one, Mateo. He's probably a confidence player, isn't he? And the main thing is the players are scoring for Leeds. And as you rightly said earlier, if Joseph's not doing the business, Pirro will come on and create goals. So I think just needs one. Does Joseph took his goal against Hull City back in August, I think it was, and he might go on a run. But all strikers go through barren spells a little bit. He's not the first, he's certainly not the last. But he just needs that one goal to set him going, and he will score. He does the ball work off the ball really, really well. And he brings other players into play, so it'll come. But the main thing is this season we're not reliant on the strikers just scoring goals. We've got goals from everywhere. Look, Rodon scored, Struick scored.
22 from the winger stats, 22 goals and assists in the 20 games between the four wide players.
That's fantastic, and that is what is the makings of a championship winning side. You can't rely on just your strikers to do the business now. If you go back to 16-17 when Chris Wood was here, Chris Wood scored 30 goals and we finished 7th. If you had other goals from other parts of midfield and what have you, we may have made the playoffs. So, and maybe last season as well, we might have got automatic and more players sort of come to the fore, but yeah, I agree with that, Joe. That he's still a kid and he will come good. He's still very raw. It's his first full season as a footballer. So, yeah, I have no issues with Mateo Joseph. And as I said, they're sharing the goals around. And once he gets one, I think he'll go on a run.
I think the pressure comment is an important one. Not this time last year, a little bit later on after the Chelsea game, everyone was banging on the door saying he needs to start, to start. And we all said it at the time, and I said it, and I've coached young players that have been good, and they all said, just relax, give him time. Don't rush him into the team, because just because he's had a really good game doesn't mean he's going to have a really good season. And you put that kind of pressure on a player. If he's the one that misses the chance that causes Leeds to miss out on promotion, that could have a detrimental impact on his development. So, what you have to look at with young players is their all-around game. Is he contributing when he's playing? And I would say the pressing from a Daniel Farke's side is super important to how Leeds play. Joseph does that very well, especially in certain games. Like Lockie again made this point. I think Paul made it as well from Leeds Therapy. If you look at the Leeds front line that lined up against Middlesbrough, that was designed to press Aronson, Joseph, James, Tonto, high speed, high press. And I thought he was excellent at that. But that's the bit of the game that just goes unseen. And if you think about how many times Leeds won the ball from their backline trying to pass out, that's because they're being forced into passes they don't want to do by Mateo Joseph. So then the issue is he's doing all of that work, and sometimes you're not always in the right area to get on the end of things because you're the one doing the creation. And Joel Pirro suffers from that a little bit at times as well. But I think it's horses for courses. I think when it's tight and compact and low blocks, I would start Joel Pirro, because I think he can make something out of nothing in a very small space. And I think if it's more open and more ability to be more expressive, I think you start Mateo Joseph and you let him use his legs and get running at people. So I would be fine. His first breakout season, he's got 5 goals already this season. So I mean, that's okay. He finishes the season on 10 goals. You're like, that's a good breakout season, mate. Well done. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think there's a tendency for fans, not just Leeds fans, but all football fans, to, even when you're winning games, look at negatives. And to me, there's no negativity at the moment. I just saw something about Alan Smith then. I think the first time Alan Smith was on the losing side was against Real Madrid, which isn't a bad time. It's a side team to score against. He scored against Real Madrid. It was the first time Alan Smith scored and was on the losing side back in March the 6th, 2001. So I don't think he's too far off that. But yeah, I'm delighted where we are. We've got real good chance now leading up to Christmas, and I still believe that come May the 3rd, a day after my 40th birthday, may I add, I'll be having a double celebration. That Ethan Ampadu will be lifting that championship trophy at Home Park.
Well, that'd be lovely. Keep saying it. We'll find a beach relatively close by.
Yeah.
How far the airport beach, but we'll get there.
Yes.
A couple of other ones. Seaside TV. Did I decide to do a channel for my local side? My local side is Drogheda United, not to be pronounced Drogheda. It's Drogheda United. And I don't know enough about Drogheda to do a channel on them, but I am planning on going to more games there next season because they're under good. I support Cork City because I was born in Cork.
Yes.
So that's why. I don't sound like I'm from Cork, for those who do know. Do a 90 show. Okay, we will. Okay. We'll sorted. And Danny was asking, how far is Daniel James away from breaking Alan Smith's a record of scoring and Leeds winning?
I think it's about 4 or 5 games off the top of my head. And just to go back to Drogheda, that was where Gary Kelly was signed from. Back in, he came over in '92 as a striker. The story goes, Mel Stirling got injured very quickly in pre-season, ironically in Ireland.
I was at the game.
There you go. Yeah, and Gary Kelly.
Gary Kelly's debut.
That's the one. There you go then. So yeah, that's little things. And you can also get that. Just a little plug for my book. It's all in there, the Friendlies book as well. So feel free, if you want a Christmas stocking filler, do buy The Forgotten Games of Leeds United. So yeah, plenty to look forward to. Very much looking forward to the Christmas period, and bring it all on.
Folks, we're going to wrap it up there. Massive thanks to everyone in chat. Another really nice chat tonight. I said pre-season that we'll go 10, 15 games without scoring. Patience required. Just hope we've got plenty. We do. We'll be fine. I'd like to see Leeds bring in another number 9 at Christmas, but depends what they decide to do with Gallagher and Bamford. Yeah. We'll see. I'm going for it. I think I said 3-1 or 3-0 in the group for the predictions league this week. So I'm going to say 3-0 to Leeds in this game. I feel confident. I think we get an early goal. I think we go on and win the game. Although it should be said, Paul Hickenbottom has a very good record managing teams against his old sides. He does. Beat Barnsley twice, once with Leeds, once with Sheffield United. So he's got a decent record. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. But folks, as I say, a massive thanks as always for supporting the channel. Today's news is available on the channel. You can check that out if you want to. And Stats, anything going on with you that you want to talk about? Or
just coming up next March, I will be doing another Leeds United themed quiz down Ellen Road. I'm in discussions with the club. Haven't got a date to be confirmed, and all the proceeds will go to the Stroke Association, which I will explain in a bit more detail nearer the time. So yeah, I'll get that all sorted. All the links and all the information will be ready available in the new year once I've got final dates and what have you and start the planning. But looking sort of towards back in the March, there's an international break I think in March as well. 'Cause I think they've just done the World Cup qualifying draw today, so it'll be in around that period when the internationals are on. So very much something to get my teeth into and look forward to it. And I'm also hoping to have a new book or starting a new book in the new year on the history of the Leeds United programme, which is something very different, which is very niche. And I've collected programmes for 60 seasons or so, and I've got them all stored, and how the programme has changed from what it was in the 1960s to what it is 60, 70 years later, and it's very different to what it was print-wise, colour-wise, and sort of features-wise. So yeah, plenty of things to look forward to in the new year.
Great. And we got more stuff coming up on the channel this week. The warm-up will be out in the morning, which is your data and statistical pack ready for the game in as short amount of time as I can get it in. No waffle, no fluff, just straight in. These are the key stats and figures and data you need to know going into that game. It'll be out on the channel at 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm just going to record it in a second. Have it ready for you to go out in the morning. Both press conferences from both managers covered, as well as all the relevant team news, form guides, and everything else going into that game. You can see that in the morning. And then back on Monday for a review of the game, which hopefully is a good one, and then back into our normal rhythm of doing things. So lots to keep an eye out for, folks. Massive thank you as always, as I say, and I will see you soon. Enjoy the weekend. Fingers crossed for 3 points.